and partly sunny for Wednesday. Partly sunny Wednesday. Down milder air moves. Thursday. Thursday afternoon. Just 13 Oldies 101.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone.
So what if I need a new one? No problem. We have the right battery for your car, starting at $89.99. And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppable bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in Wash Scent Beads.
The program is paid for by Nick Rodgers. The views, opinions, and commentary are solely those of the host, guests, and Nick Rodgers, and are not endorsed by Whoop Boom Radio, this station, or personnel.
It's the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101, for the first Tuesday of each month, and focusing on the community and what interests you. And now, Nick Rodgers.
Good evening, Central Indiana. Welcome to the Nick Rodgers Show. We are coming to you live from the studios, the WHBU Studios Oldies 101, with our co-host Leland. Good evening, Leland.
Hello, sir. I'll tell you what, this is exciting. This is the first time we have tried. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras going tonight, and we're giving this a try the first time. I'd be very curious to hear what people think of this new format, new trial in 2024.
Yeah, they can chime in, comment, give us your questions. We're live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes, so feel free to do that. Matter of fact, tonight's going to be a great show. We're going to be visiting with Remax Agent of the Month, Jim Bittner, no stranger to radio. Preferred Mortgage Regional Manager, Dan Milton. Also, Halstead Home Inspection Owner, Bill Halstead. And 2 new segments tonight we're trying for the very first. Oh, I'm covering my camera. Sorry, I forget about it. I'm just not used to this. I know what am I thinking. I got a face for radio. What can I say? Property listing. Actually, I have 2 new segments tonight. You're going to see on video. We'll talk about on the air. We have the property listing of the month and the investment property of the month. So some exciting things on the Nick Rodgers Show for 2024, Nick.
Yeah, so let's jump into our listing of the month.
Oh, great. What do we have?
Well, we have property that's brought to us by Sherry Humes at Remax. You guys might have passed it coming into the studio tonight. The address is 9482 North County Road 800. I'm going to try to share this.
Oh, great.
For our little watchers.
So far, there we go. There's a share.
We've got
Wait, I'm seeing infinity. There we go. That's working.
We've got a 3-bed, 2 right on the corner of 125. The 3-2 listed at $218,000, just under 2,000 square feet. Beautiful home, really caught my eye. It's actually a little local legend home. It was previously owned by Middletown Realtor, Sherry Fields.
Really? Oh, Sherry Fields.
Sherry Fields' old house. Yes, they had it up for sale by owner. I don't know if it's her family or what, but they say 80% of for sale by owners eventually list.
There you go. Hey, by the way, want to give a shout out. We have 4 people watching on the Nick Rodgers Facebook page. We have 1 person on the Nick Rodgers Show YouTube channel, and 2 people on the Nick Rodgers Remax. So it's kind of fun to see how many. When I did radio, I had tens of listeners. I probably had about 8 people, and 7 of them were family. So fantastic stuff. So if you want to join in, you can find us on the net tonight. Of course, Facebook. And you can find us see the video listing we just had. You can find us on the Nick Rodgers Show. That's Rodgers with a D.
Yes.
Rodgers, the Nick Rodgers Show. There's another Nick Rodgers without the D. Oh, my God. Who's going to know is interesting.
Right.
So, good stuff. So, that's tonight. Those are the property listings of the month. And again, that's the property we're going to have near the end of the show. We have another one we're going to be showing today.
Yeah, we're going to be discussing the investment opportunity of the month, where I've gone and picked what I think is the best listing out there for possible flip or rental.
Fantastic. Well,
So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Hey, by the way, speaking of, now this is fun. In the 1980s, I actually would run a camera switcher. So we're going to see if I can do this. Let's switch now because we've got Jim Bittner in the studio, who's the agent of the month. Jim?
Yes.
Boom, there he is.
Hi, I'm here. Thank you.
Welcome, Jim.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the Nick Rodgers with the D show.
Nick Rodgers with a D, exactly.
It could be the Nick Dodgers show if you want to have an extra D.
Okay.
Been a long day.
By the way, I'm hearing rap music in the background.
You know, that might have been my Spotify account.
Okay.
Yeah, I love tech.
Okay.
Thanks
the people
to,
at home were not hearing Nick's
Joe Beatrice commented, what is the background music? And then I heard it. Yeah.
It sounded especially hip hop for the Nick Rodgers show.
Yeah.
And now the sad part is, see, if you're listening at home, you're missing this because you just heard the Nick Rodgers show with the cool hip hop background for those of us, those listening on the stream. And so that's going to be kind of an exciting thing. So I'm sorry. Anyway, Jim Bittner's here. Jim, it's always good to see you, sir. I see your name all
Everywhere.
over town. Exactly.
Everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere.
Everywhere. Did I ever tell you I taught Snoop Dogg everything he knows?
Wasn't he? Wait a second. Was he one?
No, chief. That was Outlaw Cool J. I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought Snoop Dogg was the one that was going around in the mystery machine solving mysteries with Velma and everybody. Okay. You do a lot of you remember in Shaggy? I'm convinced Shaggy had issues. Which I never caught that Shaggy had issues until I was old enough to know what issues Shaggy could have. But anyway, because you always had the munchies. No, I do. I see your name all over town.
You want to tell us more about Scooby Doo and Shaggy?
I understand that you do a lot of commercial work. I'm just going to keep going, buddy. No, tell us about some of the things you've got. Some of the things going on right now. We're getting right. It's hard to believe it's February. We're moving into spring.
We are.
Tell us about some things you've got going on, my friend.
Well, I can't tell you about most of it.
Okay.
It's one of those. I was just looking at property a little while ago, and I'm sworn to secrecy. So.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's in
good.
my world. Secrecy and privacy and keeping things quiet is the watchword for everything. I do commercial investment properties, farms and land, multifamily sometimes, things like that. And I don't do single family residential anymore. I've sold a few packages of houses the last 20 years, but I've been pretty much focused on commercial investment properties all this time.
Really? I was gonna ask about that. You talk about the kind of the secrecy. Do you have people literally from all over the country reaching out?
I have clients from Iran, Iraq, Israel, Bangladesh, Uzbekistan, India. No, I have Kentucky roots, so I can say that.
Nothing wrong with that. The exchange is so tough.
Yeah, especially in Gravel Switch, Kentucky, where my grandma Crutcher grew up. Great name for a town, Gravel Switch.
Oh my stars!
Right up there with Gnawbone, Indiana.
When I was in college, I used to tell people I was from Lizard Vomit, Arizona, just because it sounded so funny. I have no idea why.
That's a good one.
I made it up, but it sounded funny. So,
to get back to your initial question,
please,
for a
yes,
moment, if I may, for the last several years, the commercial real estate market's been really active, and a lot of things been moving, and that have been on the market a long time. The most visible ones probably are the strip center where Jack's Donuts is. That was on the market for a long time. It sold a couple years ago, and just recently we closed on the former Board of Church Extension and Home Missions building on the corner of Nursery and University Boulevard, and that's being renovated right now, and that's going to be a medical related business that's going to be a real asset to the community. They're existing already, and they're expanding significantly. It's going to be beautiful when they're done with it. And got some other things going on over there, but just a wide variety of things. Nick, wouldn't you agree the pace for commercial is a little different than it is for residential?
Yeah, I
don't have the patience.
I don't have the patience for it, Leland. I really don't.
Well, I've sold some listings I've had for 12 years. The market finally caught up to us. But I have also a lot that have sold a lot faster than that. But it's just a whole different world. you work on things for a long time, and sometimes they come together and sometimes they don't, at a slower pace than in residential, which a lot of people can't stand. But it's a different knowledge set. It's a different type of relationship. And the best thing about the business, from my perspective, is I get to meet people from all over the world who want to do things here in central Indiana because they see the opportunities here, and forgive me, sometimes better than the local people do. And I get to learn about lots of businesses, what people do, how they create things, how they create jobs and things like that. And it's a fascinating world to be part of. Leland's yours.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just getting I'm working on wide shots and different shots.
Jim,
and all kinds of
let's
things.
talk about the University Plaza. So an investor comes in and buys that, right? For the occupancy. Is that building fully occupied?
Which
or?
one? The old strip mall?
Yeah,
The
where
old
my
strip
Mexican
mall?
restaurant is there.
Yeah.
La
Abel?
Charreta?
Yeah.
Jack's Donuts was in there?
Yeah, I put Abel in there about 10, 12 years ago now. He's been there a long time. He's got another restaurant, Fiesta, you've been at. I know. It's a great place too. He took an old building on Pitt Street. It was a dump. Made it
Birdies.
a really nice the old Birdies. I've forgotten that. But made it a really nice restaurant. Go there. Abel Tello's the owner of both those, and he does a great job. Makes fine Tex-Mex kind of food. A little different than most Mexican. It's got the Texas twist to it, and it's just really good.
They got a nice patio out back. I guess
They
that's
do.
the back of the building.
Yeah, they do.
Looks like they're ready for summer
Yeah.
and some parties.
But back to your original question, where Jack's and La Charreta are, we sold that about 2 years ago actually, and it was an investor. They do have local presence. They have a relative lives here in Indianapolis that keeps an eye on them. They've done a good job with the property, and it's pretty full now. Some other things going on in that area that we just can't really talk about yet because they're not done. Once things are done, we can talk about them, but we can't now.
So you do share some with me, and I'll bring those up after this commercial.
No, you won't.
We'll talk about some commercial development coming to town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We could talk about it.
Okay.
God love it. You're listening to the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. That's right, Oldies 101, the Nick Rodgers Show. Stay with us. Coming up in just a few minutes, going to be talking to Dan Melton. Also going to be visiting this hour with Halstead Home Inspection. So stay with us on the Nick Rodgers Show.
Hi, I'm Jim Bittner with RE/MAX Real Estate Solutions Commercial Division. For the last 20 years, my real estate practice has been limited to commercial and investment properties, including the sale and leasing of retail, business office, medical office properties, and I also handle multifamily properties, farms, and development land. If you need help in any of these areas, please call or text me, Jim Bittner, at 765-425-1008. That's Jim Bittner, 765-425-1008. I'd love to help.
Thinking about buying a new home or refinancing your loan? Choose Bill Montgomery at Caliber Home Loans, Inc. Whether you're a first-time home buyer moving up or downsizing, Bill will guide you through the home loan process every step of the way. Call Bill Montgomery for your home loan needs, 765-221-6607. Let Caliber Home Loans guide you home.
Bill Montgomery, NMLS number 525367, state license Indiana 17637, Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS number 15622, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, Equal Housing Lender, branch license number 2907, Enterprise Drive, Anderson, Indiana 46013, all products are subject to credit and property approval, restrictions and limitations.
Attention homeowners. When it comes to the safety and integrity of your home, trust the experts at Halstead Home Inspections. Bill Halstead, owner and chief inspector, has a passion for ensuring your peace of mind. With over a decade of experience, Bill and his dedicated team have been proudly serving the community since 2007. What sets Halstead Home Inspections apart? Bill is a proud member of ASHI, the American Society of Home Inspectors. This means you're getting the highest standard of quality and professionalism in every inspection. At Halstead Home Inspections, we believe in the power of being thorough. Our full staff is committed to providing you with a comprehensive inspection, leaving no stone unturned. Ready to schedule your inspection today? Call us now at 765-766-6121. That's 765-766-6121. Or visit us online at www.halsteadhomeinspections.com. Halstead Home Inspections. Safeguarding your home, securing your future. Trust the experts. Trust Halstead.
Owning a rental property finding renters, background checks, and collecting the rent each month. And don't forget all the maintenance. It may not have been what you expected. Let Gold Key Property Solutions help you realize the dream of owning a rental property without the challenges. With the new streamlined owner portal, you will have 24/7 access to financial statements, summaries, and other important documentation. Gold Key Property Solutions has a simplified and secure payment system too. Take the challenge out of owning a rental and realize the rewards. GoldKeySolutions.com is where rental owners realize financial success in Madison County. GoldKeySolutions.com.
Whether you're looking to buy or sell with a RE/MAX agent, they'll use their years of experience to help you plan for now and later. From when this, welcome to your new home, baby girl, turns into this.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger home.
And this,
Oh, I hate this place.
turns into this.
I'm really gonna miss this place.
From tiny steps to your next big move. When you're ready to make a change, visit RE/MAX.com or download the RE/MAX app to find the right agent. The right agent can lead the way. Each office independently owned and operated.
The program is paid for by Nick Rodgers. The views, opinions, and commentary are solely those of the host, guests, and Nick Rodgers, and are not endorsed by Whoop Boom Radio, this station, or personnel.
You're listening to the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. Again, if it interests you, it interests the Nick Rodgers Show. You can always give us a call, 378-2086, 378-2086. Of course, it's sponsored by RE/MAX Realty, Gold Key Property Solutions. And now Bill Halstead from, matter of fact, you heard his new commercial tonight on the show. Bill Halstead of Halstead Home Inspections and Nick Rodgers, the Nick Rodgers Show. How you doing, Nick?
How's it going, Bill?
Doing well, Nick. How you doing?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Down there in Key West?
It was a little challenging to come back.
Brought some warmer weather with
I
you.
did, and you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
I know you guys was struggling trying to get warm while I was gone, so it seemed like the sun just followed us all the way home. So yeah.
So spring is in the air. Warmer temps are coming.
Yes.
What do we need to be doing to the houses?
You know, I always tell people, April 1st, somewhere in that realm, just start looking around for what's happened over the winter. So we didn't have we've had a big freeze, but not real significant, but that usually does make a change in construction and homes and foundations. So now's a good time to start looking around at the outside as soon as we get a couple warm days on the weekend to start seeing if the caulking is getting loose from the around the windows and the doors, things like that. So not quite time to start thinking about putting up garden hoses yet or anything like that. But
right.
But yeah, I'll start getting ready to plant some flowers and have some fun.
Make sure we got the gutters clean before the spring rains.
Yes,
that's a big one.
Well, I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Once we start getting those spring rains, that I would think drainage issues are going to start coming up that maybe you didn't have over the winter. How can we tell? I mean, some people say, I'm not going into my crawl space. What are some things that people can do, or some things that you find going into crawl spaces in some of these different areas? Maybe some things that you can fix on your own before the problems get away from you.
Yeah. Awareness is probably one of the biggest things that I've talked about, and being aware of your own home and the crawl space and what's going on at that. So just opening up the crawl space, you can hear things.
Gotcha.
I did an inspection yesterday, I guess it was, and it stopped abruptly because there was a big water leak in the crawl space from a water line. So something that no one would ever know about. They didn't know it. They didn't hear it. I just happened to hear it when I was walking next to the crawl space. So I opened it up and listened, and I could hear it from there. So another thing with the freezing, I mean, sometimes you will develop a little crack that's not really noticeable. And it will leak, but it won't leak enough that you notice a loss of pressure or anything like that. So it's important to stick your head under there or have somebody stick their head under there in the crawl space. I know a guy that could do that. But just to listen to see if you're hearing noises, hearing water running. It doesn't matter the amount that you pay for the house. We all use the exact same products. We all use the same pipes. We all use the same wires. It doesn't matter if it's a $10,000 house or a $10 million house.
It's still rolling downhill too, right?
Still going downhill.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something else people don't think about. the water damage, I mean, can get, and I've heard somewhere, and help me out, I've heard that it can like weep up into your drywall and it's like almost like a sponge as it moves up in through there. And then I would think you can get mold issues.
You can, and typically basements they'll go in and they'll cut off the bottom 24 inches all the way around just so they can, because it will wick up the back of drywall and just cause havoc in the home. So wow, yeah.
And you've been doing inspections how many years?
June will be 17 years.
17 years. Yeah. We always encourage our buyers, Jim, to have an inspection.
We insist.
I always let my buyers know you do my personal inspections on any house I may buy. The scope of your inspections, underneath, roofs, mold. What other things can you expect on the home?
So I look for everything in the house from the top of the roof to the crawl space. So the wiring, whatever wiring we can see, we're going to be looking at the wiring. We're going to be looking at the heating, how it's heating. Is there air coming from all the registers, or are the registers disconnected in the crawl space? Anything like that that's going to be that could be an issue. So that's some of the things we're going to be looking at. Down to windows. I mean, the majority of people don't open a window. So they may move into a house and live there 20 years and a window's never been touched as far as opening and closing. So I'm the first guy that's going to open and close that window. So sometimes it's great. If it's in a 1960s house, sometimes, it's not so great, or sometimes they fall apart. Sometimes they're rotted out, but since they have curtains over them, they never notice it. So we're going to be looking at all those things and put them all together for the buyers, and then go over that with them and kind of help guide them, I guess, into, how they want to proceed. So,
what about your new scope?
Loving it.
Loving it.
A lot of people probably are not loving it because we have found some significant issues in a lot of drain lines. And some was apparent, some was not. Some, may drain slow, but there's most of them, they're working right then. But, some of these areas, these drain lines have been in the ground for 50, 60, 70 years. And they're, about 90% plugged. But since only one person lives in that home, you don't really notice it. But when, the next family of 5 moves in, all of a sudden it becomes an issue. Right. So it's been a big help for us identifying issues that may come up down the road for them.
This is like a sewer scope camera. You're putting a camera all the way down the sewer lines.
Yeah.
All the way to the main, right?
So we'll run the sewer scope and all the way to the mains. And then I can tell, it does have a measuring tool on it. So I can tell if it's 12 feet out that we've got a blockage or something like that. So they can kind of get an idea of what they need to have done. So, and it kind of guides the plumbing contractor to what he needs to do.
We just had a house. The house was flipped, was purchased, then they moved in. Well, when you're flipping a home, you're not running a lot of water.
Right.
You're cleaning brushes. Then you move in a family of 4, 5, laundries, showers. There was no known issue until the load was that big.
Right.
Especially with septic tanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wayne, don't forget, what reminds me, if you're over 50, you should schedule your colonoscopy.
Yes.
That's another scope.
I do not do that with my sewer scope.
Not even for Leland?
Well, Leland's an exception.
I had self there. I was proud of myself. I sat there for 5 full minutes laughing and not saying that. But, if you're over 50, a little healthcare.
I had a little more self-control. I managed to contain it.
You know why? Because you're just a better man than I am. Jim. I tell you, it wasn't for lack of trying. I couldn't help it. But I did want to ask a little bit. Back to the drains for just one quick second. My dad always said, "Don't plant weeping willow trees. Don't plant this. Don't plant that." As we're thinking about planting in this spring, are there certain trees, things we should avoid that may get into my laterals, may get into my pipes, you don't think about it, but they can bust concrete, all these other kind of underground things you don't even know about.
Yeah. Anything, pine trees they have a very shallow root system. So maples are that way too. So that's why those are the biggest culprits of getting into the lines. Never plant any tree near the septic system or the drain field anywhere near there. Just steer clear of that area. So those are all areas to kind of look out for. So the hardwoods have a lot deeper root system. So it takes a lot longer for them to grow, but they do have a lot deeper root systems. They don't seem to have as much trouble.
Fantastic.
We've got a lot of wisdom in the room. We're going to open up the phone lines. I know we have Dan Melton from Preferred Mortgage coming on here soon, but our phone number here is 378-2086. You can also comment on the chat if you have a question. We got a home inspector. We've got Jim Bittner here talking all commercial. And then we're going to have a lender with us here after this next break.
So stay with us. You're listening to the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. Heard the first Tuesday of each month. If it's an important issue in the community, if it's important about real estate, it's important on the Nick Rodgers Show. Stay with us. Coming up, Dan Melton and your calls.
Attention homeowners. When it comes to the safety and integrity of your home, the expert Halstead Halstead and Chief Inspector is a passionate of mine. With over a decade of experience, have been proudly the community since 2007. What sets Halstead Home Inspections apart? Of ASI. This means you're getting the high standard of quality and professionalism in every inspection. At Halstead Home Inspections, we believe in the power of being thorough. Our full staff is committed to providing you a comprehensive inspection, leaving no stone unturned. Ready to do your inspection today? Call us now. 765-766-6121. That's 765-766-6121. Or visit us online at www.halsteadhomeinspections.com. Halstead Home Inspections. Safeguarding your home, securing your future. Trust the experts. Trust Halstead.
Owning a rental property can be a challenge. Finding renters, background checks, and collecting the rent each month. And don't forget all the maintenance. It may not have been what you expected. Let Gold Key Property Solutions help you realize the dream of owning a rental property without the challenges. With the new streamlined owner portal, you will have 24/7 access to financial statements, summaries, and other important documentation. Gold Key Property Solutions has a simplified and secure payment system too. Take the challenge out of owning a rental and realize the rewards. GoldKeySolutions.com is where rental owners realize financial success in Madison County. GoldKeySolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Bittner with Remax Real Estate Solutions Commercial Division. For the last 20 years, my real estate practice has been limited to commercial and investment properties, including the sale and leasing of retail, business office, medical office properties, and I also handle multifamily properties, farms, and development land. If you need help in any of these areas, please call or text me, Jim Bittner, at 765-425-1008. That's Jim Bittner, 765-425-1008. I'd love to help.
Thinking about buying a new home or refinancing your loan? Choose Bill Montgomery Caliber Home Loans, Inc. Whether you're a first-time home buyer moving up or downsizing, Bill will guide you through the home loan process every step of the way. Call Bill Montgomery for your home loan needs, 765-221-6607. Let Caliber Home Loans guide you home.
Bill Montgomery, NMLS number 525367, state license Indiana 17637, Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS number 15622, NMLSConsumerAccess.org, equal housing lender, branch license number 29907, Enterprise Drive, Anderson, Indiana 46013, all products are subject to credit and property approval, with restrictions and limitations.
When it comes to buying your first home, everyone has questions.
Can we even afford to buy a house right now? Well, I need to negotiate. How do I even negotiate?
Luckily, a RE/MAX agent has answers.
Hey, Brian, those are really good questions.
They are? Thanks. It's my first time buying.
I work with first-time buyers all the time. I got you.
RE/MAX agents have more experience than other real estate agents. Visit RE/MAX.com or download the RE/MAX app to find the right agent. The right agent can lead the way. Each office independently owned and operated.
The program is paid for by Nick Rodgers. The views, opinions, and commentary are solely those of the host, guests, and Nick Rodgers, and are not endorsed by Whoop Boom Radio, this station, or personnel.
Give you the high sign. Ready to go. It's the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Matter of fact, this is great. This is the first time we've actually tried this. We're live tonight. We're live tonight on Facebook, the Nick Rodgers Show on YouTube. the Nick Rodgers Show on Facebook. Heard internationally over the shortwave radio. So we're kind of excited about that tonight. I made that part up. But we also have Dan Melton. I was going to be talking to him in just a second. But Nick, this is fun. This is going into 2024 with all kinds of great stuff, videos and everything.
Growing.
Do what?
New show. We're growing.
Exactly.
Ratings are through the roof.
Hey, we had 11 people. We've doubled what I used to have.
Yeah.
So, and those were all family in those days. No, I'm kidding. We've been having folks joining us on the video feed. Of course, you're listening on Oldies 101. So we're really happy to have you listening as well. If you'd like to listen and watch, that'd be great too. And also taking your calls after we talk to Dan Melton. And that's our next guest, Nick.
Yeah. Dan, are you there?
I'm here, buddy.
How's Sherry?
She's getting there. She's doing better. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So Dan was supposed to join us tonight in the studio, but he's at home taking care of the wife. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how are rates? What's going on out there in the mortgage world?
They trickled down a little bit, definitely since December, when they hit their highest point. At one point they reached the 8s, and they've been trickling down a little bit, and it's really creating an influx in the market already, which I'm excited about. I mean, January was crazy. February's already starting out. Buyers are already jumping, at just maybe the 3/4 point that it's come down, and they're already putting offers in. So they're already starting to get back in that process of the multiple offers. But currently, it's still like right there on that cusp where I feel like the buyers are having a little more flexibility on getting their offers accepted. But if they wait around much longer, if they drop more, it's going to be back to that market where everybody's they're fighting to get that offer accepted. So right now we're just seeing a lot of buyers starting to get a little bit of success, which is nice to see. Yeah.
I tell you what, I saw a couple interesting things here this last week looking at files. One, I saw $10,000 in closing costs on a contract get accepted.
Yes, I've had that.
I couldn't believe that.
On one. I had 8,000 on one.
It's been a long time since we've allowed a seller to give up that much closing cost.
This is true, and that's why I think right now it's really a buyer's advantage. I know everybody's seen those 2 and 3s there for a couple of years. That's something of the past. That's not a normal market. Eventually we'll settle out probably in the 5s or so. But right now is the opportunity for people to seize the buying before we actually get down in the low 6s and 5s again, and because then everybody's back out there. It's going to be madness. Which is going to be good. I mean, we did it. Back in 2020, 2021, 22, when we had the super low rates. I mean, lots of people bought homes, but they might have to go offer on 15 homes instead of offer on 1 or 2 or 3 to get their dream home. So right now is their opportunity.
Yep. And then I know that was one spectrum, and on another end, I think we had a house. I think they were talking about it in the office today, Jim, with 5 offers on the house. So kind of a mixed market right now, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's great. I mean, and we are starting to see some buyers, of course, right now, tax time. People's getting their tax money. That's great for us. They've got their down payments. They got their reserves. They've got whatever they need coming in. If not already in their bank account, they've already filed their taxes. The people that, are prepared and ready to do it. And so they've done it. And TurboTax or H&R Block or whoever's already told them, hey, here's how much money you're getting. So they know within a week or 2 or 3 weeks they got the money. So they're already starting to use those monies to utilize their dreams.
Yes, and people getting tax checks should really talk to you before they spend any of the money. They think they know where to put the money to improve their score or their situation, right?
Right.
But that's not always the case.
No, definitely not. They might need $100. They might need $1,000 of it, just to get them where they want to be, so that they can, get into the home, not buy, do what they need to do. We've already advised several people in the last couple of weeks. I had a client There'll be a $275,000 borrower. They're moving here from another state to Indianapolis. They wanted to buy, and they didn't know what they needed to do. So I told them it took them $3,000, but they had plenty coming back. They actually were getting $15,000 on their tax check. So they already got it. They already paid off the debt, and that's going to take them from a 518 borrower to like a 620, which, you know, we can get them done at 580, but 620, a little better rate for you, better terms. So in 3 weeks, they're going to be ready once all the credit reports hit to buy their dream home. That they were like, well, we can't buy it, you know. So it took them $3,000 out of the $15,000 they were getting back. Not all borrowers need that by any means. They just had a lot of things they had to work on and a lot of open debt. But
Dan,
definitely.
Did you happen to get the number of their tax preparer? $15,000 back. My guy doesn't do a very good job. I'm missing out somewhere.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, what in the world? I've never even heard of that. I did want to ask, though, one of the things I think people dread each month, and I've never enjoyed it, is budgeting. How important is it? There used to be kind of a rule of thumb, only so much of your income should go to your house, or how much you should do. Give us an idea what people should do before they get excited, because it's really easy. I see these great postings on RE/MAX of these amazing houses and this view and that view and so forth and so on. You can get yourself kind of upside down if you're not real careful.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. What you want to do is look at your gross income. So take your total year, divide it by 12, and then take that times 0.31. That's a good place to be for the max house payment you should be looking at. Now, your total debt ratio that includes your car payment, your credit cards, your student loans, etc., will be added to that. And Fannie Mae's little magic numbers, they like a 31 max house payment, a 43 total debt ratio. Now, that doesn't mean we stick by that. We have seen them clear up to 45 housing, 46 housing ratios, 56 total debt ratios. And if you get in the VA loans, we've closed them as high as 70% debt ratio. So there's a lot of things that factor in. But if you're kind of wanting to see what all your options are going to be, because USDA really wants your total housing ratio at 29%. So if you stay between 29 and 31, that's your magic number between USDA, FHA, conventional, where they really like to see. So just take your total gross income per year, divide it by 12, take that times 29 or 31%, and don't shop for anything above that much of a house payment. And like I said, there are other things. So you got to get pre-qualified, because if you don't, I mean, you're not having all your debts looked at.
Well, and the one thing you don't want to do is have a real estate agent. I've always thought that is a relationship. I mean, it really is. And you don't want to mislead them and say, hey, I can buy a $500,000 house. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, really, I can't do anything above, 253 or what have you. So I would think, you want to have an honest, great relationship with your agent. Well, and Jim Bittner's in studio tonight. So, they can certainly attest to building those relationships with the person you're going to be working with. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta have a good crew working for you as a client. As a crew, I mean, you need your real estate agent, definitely, because you have to have a 24/7 agent, even in this market. This houses pop on the market all the time, and if they're not finding that right house, the other person got it that you wanted, and you're gonna look back and say, I wish I hadn't been dealing with the agent that only works 8 hours a week, So, Nick's team is great at this. Like every one of his agents I work with, they're 24/7. It's amazing. So I appreciate every one of his agents that I work with. I truly do.
Well, and that brings up something else, because Jim's in studio. And Jim, when you're working with somebody, tell us about the importance of being pre-qualified and working with Dan and having basically all the I's dotted and T's crossed.
Now, 24/7 what's that? That's
28.
Dan, my world's a little different, and you know that. I don't exactly I deal in commercial investment properties, and that's a whole different ball game, a whole different world. But it's everything Dan's talking about is so true, and people have to watch that and get pre-qualified or pre-approved, because on the residential side, if you're not, you're just pretty much not going to get anywhere. And it's also difficult for an agent to make a real commitment to you if you're not willing to get to that point. And I've said many times, if somebody says they don't need to get pre-qualified or pre-approved because money's not a problem, and there's a reason for that. It's because they ain't got none. Dan, have you ever run across that?
Oh, I don't know, once or 1,000.
You're listening to the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. Heard the first Tuesday of each month. Make sure you join us. I've been getting texts off to the side of folks who are watching on YouTube and listening. So you can certainly join us there, the Nick Rodgers Show on Facebook. You can certainly join us on the radio station, 378-2086. Coming up, Nick, another new feature. 2024 is all about new features.
Yes.
This is the investment property of the month coming
Investment
up?
property of the month. I got a hot one. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Bittner with RE/MAX Real Estate Solutions Commercial Division. For the last 20 years, my real estate practice has been limited to commercial and investment properties, including the sale and leasing of retail, business office, medical office properties, and I also handle multifamily properties, farms, and development land. If you need help in any of these areas, please call or text me, Jim Bittner, at 765-425-1008. That's Jim Bittner, 765-425-1008.
Be a challenge. Finding renters, background checks, and collecting the rent each month. And don't forget all the maintenance. It may not have been what you expected. Let Gold Key Property Solutions help you realize the dream of owning a rental property without the challenges. With the new streamlined owner portal, you will have 24/7 access to financial statements, summaries, and other important documentation. Gold Key Property Solutions has a simplified and secure payment system too. Take the challenge out of owning a rental and realize the rewards. GoldKeySolutions.com is where rental owners realize financial success in Madison County. GoldKeySolutions.com.
Attention homeowners. When it comes to the safety and integrity of your home, trust the experts at Halstead Home Inspections. Bill Halstead, owner and chief inspector, has a passion for ensuring your peace of mind. With over a decade of experience, Bill and his dedicated team have been proudly serving the community since 2007. What sets Halstead Home Inspections apart? Bill is a proud member of ASHI, the American Society of Home Inspectors. This means you're getting the highest standard of quality and professionalism in every inspection. At Halstead Home Inspections, we believe in the power of being thorough. Our full staff is committed to providing you with a comprehensive inspection, leaving no stone unturned. Ready to schedule your inspection today? Call us now at 765-766-6121. That's 765-766-6121. Or visit us online at www.halsteadhomeinspections.com. Halstead Home Inspections. Safeguarding your home, securing your future. Trust the experts. Trust Halstead.
When it comes to listing your home for sale, everyone and their mom has advice.
Oh, honey, who's gonna want to buy this place? On a cul-de-sac? It's literally a dead end.
But for professional advice, a RE/MAX agent actually knows best.
Let's start with a neighborhood analysis. I've been seeing lots of buyers looking to move here.
RE/MAX is the most trusted name in real estate. Visit RE/MAX.com or download the RE/MAX app to find the right agent. The right agent can lead the way. Based on 2022 Brand Spark American Trust Study. Each office independently owned and operated.
The program is paid for by Nick Rodgers. The views, opinions, and commentary are solely those of the host, guests, and Nick Rodgers, and are not endorsed by Whoop Boom Radio, this station, or personnel.
You're listening to the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101 here the first Tuesday of each month. Got to get used to doing multiple tasks. My multitasker really struggles sometimes. So we've got the video going, we've got the audio going, the radio going. Wade is pointing. life is good. Anyway, I don't want to cover up the camera. Sorry with the script. Anyway, it's the Nick Rodgers Show. Don't move the mics on me. I won't know where to go. It's the Nick Rodgers Show on Oldies 101. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Again, this is the new show for 2024. You are part of history. The people who are watching tonight, and matter of fact, I got a great text from a friend who's watching us on the big screen tonight, which is scary. But those joining us on the Nick Rodgers Show YouTube channel, the Nick Rodgers Show Facebook page, and the Nick Rodgers the Remax page. So how about that? Also, the investment property of the month. Going to talk a little bit about that one.
We're going to talk a little bit. I think we still got Dan with us. Dan, you still there?
Oh yeah, good.
Yes, I'm here, Nick.
All right. I want to make sure our listeners know how to get a hold of you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they can reach my phone, area code 765-387-7711. They can email me, Dan at gomortgagenow.com. And we actually have a Facebook page. It's Preferred Mortgage, NMLS 2975. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook, Mr. Messenger. And we actually just started a YouTube channel, and we're going to be on Facebook Live. And Nick's going to be on that soon with us, actually. So we're going to be scheduling a time for that. So there you go.
Exciting stuff, Dan. As always, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about our investor special of the month.
Oh, fantastic.
This is brought to us by Sky Estes at Remax, who's a investor himself. This property is located at 121 Circle Drive in Anderson. It's actually Chesterfield, but an Anderson address. It's right in the heart of Chesterfield. It's right behind the airport.
Oh, cool.
Off Anderson Road. But I don't know why it has an Anderson address, but it's listed for $75,000. It's almost 1,200 square foot brick ranch.
Wow.
We believe the rehab cost is going to be somewhere around $25,000-$30,000. It's going to put you about 105, and we think we can sell it repaired at around $130,000 to $140,000.
Wow. That's a good investment.
Circle Drive has seen a lot of activity the last 12 months. We just did another renovation flip on Circle Drive just about 6 months ago. So very familiar with the neighborhood. Got a good friend that just lives right outside the neighborhood as well. That's why I picked this house as our investor special of the month.
Fantastic. What do people look for? I always hear, I think it's real easy. The internet is full of, I paid $10 for this house and sold it for $300 million. All these crazy kind of stories. But those are rare as hen's teeth, as Dad would say. On investment property, what are people? I mean, is there kind of a rule of thumb on investment property?
There's three main numbers. There's the purchase price, the rehab price, and then what you're going to sell it for. And then you also need to know the cost of sale. So a lot of people don't understand the cost of sale. They think, oh, you only paid, what I always hear is, Jim, you only paid that for this house.
Yep.
They're not figuring all the other rehabs. So those are the three numbers you got to focus on. You got to be really polished in all three to be successful, in my opinion. You need a real estate agent that understands those factors as well as what can be a good investment property and what cannot. This would be a flip opportunity. If you are looking for a rental, I can find you $850 a month in income for a lot less than $100,000, which is what we believe you would have in this house. So this wouldn't check a rental property in most investors' minds. Investors look at a couple different things too, as far as rentals. What's the appreciation value going to be in 10 years? Most look at what's my income this year.
So you have to look at kind of much more of a long term. So when people talk about flipping, I know when my parents passed on, some folks bought the house, and then when they came back around, they didn't take them any time at all to completely rehab it. It was your typical 1970s kind of ranch home.
Perfect.
So exactly, but now it's much more. Matter of fact, when it was posted online, I had a tough time figuring out even where my old bedroom was, because they had completely taken it apart and redid it. So when you buy an investment property, do you want to do like a flip over really fast, like when a period of time, or sometimes it takes a little time? Or how's that work?
There's all different kinds. There's I guess mom and pop investors. They do one house a year. He's going to do all the hammering and screwing after hours on the house, Jim.
I didn't say anything.
Keeping everything exactly. So they're going to do all that kind of work back behind the scenes.
You know, so they're going to carry it on for 12, 14, 16 months, I've seen.
So they're not bringing a whole crew in. They're just going to do everything themselves.
Sweat equity is the key component there. And you have to put a value on that because most people don't put any value of any kind on their time.
Right.
You know, you need to do that. Figure that in and pick a figure that makes sense, not $5 an hour. You know, something that really makes sense as your cost basis on it.
No one has ever really proved to me, build this wall, add this room, and I'll get you X back. I'm not a big believer in that. I'm more on a 90-day flip. What can I do to get this house back on the market in 30 to 60 days?
30 to 60.
You know,
now, these people who do this all the time, I know this was a big thing years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers William J. McCorkle, who used to have the late night infomercials all the time. Do you see when people are buying houses that are like from a realtor typically, and then finding that property and then working through the steps?
No. So,
but they should.
They should. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, well, I guess maybe I misunderstood your question.
No, it was a leading question.
Okay,
I apologize. It was a leading question because I would think that would be the better way to do it is work with somebody who can find you and hit, you know, ground rule doubles and so forth and saying, I would think the risk would be lower.
So there's other websites besides the MLS. On the commercial side, they sometimes say deals go to the MLS to get killed. But locally, no, we have monthly sheriff sales. We have 3 tax sales every year. We also have houses that sometimes don't hit the market. If a seller chooses, hey, just bring me a cash offer now. Sometimes at Remax, we uncover situations where the seller can't do the repairs. You know, we're pending in a contract, but it's not going to close. The seller's upside down. Seller has no money. And so sometimes those surface as well. So what you really want is an agent with a good brokerage that really understands all the avenues of finding the deals.
And a good agent can save you a lot of money and help you make more money too. And I've read and heard so many horror stories about, well, we'll save some money over here by not getting an agent. And then they sold it for way less than it was actually worth. Cost themselves thousands of dollars. And so you need a good real estate professional.
Yep.
And
a good
home
team.
inspector.
A good team. Bill, I mean, who's my first
good loan officer, all that. Yes, sir.
My investor clients buy a flip. Who's the first call we make? We call Bill Halstead. You know, we want to know, is there $5,000 worth of damage underneath? You know, I'm not going to blow all my budget on rehabbing the kitchen and the bathrooms to find out.
Yeah, and I do a lot of inspections for people who did not. They elected not to do anything. They didn't want to know. So then whenever they do the flip and no one had ever even looked under the house, and then they come in to do the inspection, next thing I know, they're in trouble. Because there was issues that they could have been aware of if they
One more quick thing about inspections too. During the super fast market we had in recent years, there are already stories coming out, people that waived inspections so they can beat everybody else out, and they're so sorry now they did that. They wouldn't listen to their real estate agent. They just went ahead and waived inspections, and now things are a mess underneath. Things you can't see. So hire a good inspector every time. It's Bill and his crew are well worth the money. They'll save you money. They'll help you make more money. They'll let you know what's there. And you may not want to do it because of what you find out. But at least you know where you're getting into if you do proceed.
Well, do your homework. I think people get dazzled. I love the internet, but I think people can see these stories and they get kind of overwhelmed and too excited about it. I mean, take your time and do exactly what you're supposed to. I mean,
don't take your home buying advice from HGTV. Exactly. That's not reality. Not at all.
By the way,
put a paint on there, get an extra $50,000 out of that house for you.
I owned a big old barn of a house downtown in Anderson.
I remember that.
Remember that on
13th
Street?
Yeah, 13th Street. Yeah.
Because I used to love to watch this old house. They never tell you that the budgets on this old house. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put in new wiring and new It's like, good heavens.
Oh, there's some powder post beetles over there. Well, we treated for them 30 years ago. They couldn't be here.
Oh, exactly. And you shake your head. They never talked about this kind of stuff. So, again, make sure you know exactly what you're doing. But Nick Rodgers' first show of 2024 is just about done.
You're looking good on camera, Leland.
I appreciate it. I do everything I can. I make up by Clairol. I do want to touch base. If you'd like to be part of the Nick Rodgers Show, don't forget to give them a call. Also, you can reach out to Nick Rodgers, 640-1900. 640-1900, heard the first Tuesday of each month. It's the Nick Rodgers Show, and this time on Facebook and YouTube. And thanks to everybody who joined in tonight.